Why did I decide to write this book? So, yes, look at this. This is book writing, okay? So, I decided to write this book because a lot of you see the cleaned up, not today, of course, but you know, that Instagram 100 filters type of person, and you think, oh my God, she's a public adjuster, and she's a gym owner, and she's a real estate broker, and she's a mom, and she's a grandma, and she has a perfect life. And I do. I'm so incredibly over the top grateful for God in my life and everything that He has allowed us to do. And I'm very, very thankful. And I'm very clear that without God, I wouldn't have any of it. But it wasn't always like that. So before I came to know the Lord, I had gone through plenty of things that I am going to be revealing in this book to help others find their way to gratitude. So I believe that we get to choose. I believe that gratitude is a choice and that we get to choose exactly what we're going to go into. So it is from victimhood to gratitude. That's what it's all about, right? So there was a time in my life where I was 3 years old and my dad died. I remember vividly standing by a fence. It was one of the fences in the islands that had, I remember because my mom was grabbing onto it, and I remember her getting hurt in her hands. It was those chain fence links, and she was told then and there that my dad had died. And I remember like if it was today. Of course, all of us that were my father's kids, we went to the funeral, and I was 3. And the next memory I remember is we were jumping on the bed, and we broke the bed. We broke the bed from jumping around. Our lives after that was never the same. It was from my childhood, I remember that being a very happy moment, but then all the way up to my teens, I remember happy moments in between, but most of those memories were very dark. I remember as young as 3 years old getting sexually abused by someone very close to me who today I love dearly and I support, and anything I can do for him, I will do for him. But back then, at 3, it was not what I expected. Then, from the age of 6 to 10 years old, I went to go live with my grandmother. And those were also very dark years where there was a lot of abuse. There was a lot of, how can I say it? There was a lot of judgment just because of my skin color. My grandmother was very, very prejudiced and felt that I was just, these are her words, you are just like your father. You are dark. You are not a loving person. And she was just very unkind. She was not only abusive verbally, but she was physically abusive to me. That went on from the age of 6 to 10. And it actually ended when I said to my family, right around the holidays, I said, I will take my life if I'm not removed from her home. So imagine that. And right away, I was placed at my grandfather's house. And my grandfather was a wonderful man. So very wonderful man. But from 10 to 13 in that home, I was sexually abused by aunts and uncles. So just a lot went on during that time. And eventually that led me to a life where I went into drug addiction, and I was trying to mask the pain of what I had gone through with the drugs, with the drinking, with the men, with the clothes, with the fame, with the this, with the that. And none of it fueled my life. I am really, really thankful and grateful for all those things happening. I am so incredibly thankful to God for allowing me to live. Some of those situations I place myself in, it's a miracle that I am alive. I thank the Lord for coming to know Him, for having Him in my life, but it wasn't always pretty and it wasn't always good. So that's what I want to write this book about. I want to be able to talk about what God has been able to do. I want to be able to talk to that woman that has been sexually abused. I want to talk to that man that was touched improperly, perhaps by strangers and perhaps by people that were very close to him. I want to be able to help in the healing process. I want to be able to talk to that broken person that feels that they're still broken 10, 20, 30 years later. And I want to help in that healing from a place of gratitude. I also want to talk to the person that's addicted. A lot of people that are addicted, they come from the same background as I have. A lot of prostitution and a lot of promiscuity and a lot of bad choices, a lot of shame, a lot of struggles. I want to be able to talk to that person and say to that person, you can heal, you can restore, you can do something better. I want to be able to talk to that person that has gone through a divorce and feels my life is over. The person that has financially lost everything and feels I'm done, I can't do this. The person that maybe is supposed to have a good relationship with their family, and for one reason or another, things have happened and they don't. I want to talk to that person whose family is torn right in the middle and they feel like they can't go on. I want to talk to that person that has gone through life death experiences, through accidents, through struggles, and I want to come from a place of gratitude and actually be able to turn all that mess into our message, all that we feel into our message of gratitude and thanksgiving. That's why I want to write this book. The ultimate gratitude for me, so that we're very clear, is Jesus Christ in my life. I'm not sure what you believe. I came to know the Lord at 27 years old. I said a simple prayer. I asked Jesus into my heart, but I didn't always believe. I'm not sure where you come from as far as your belief. I got saved in a church that I loved the people that were part of it, but a lot of their beliefs, very cultish like. I want to talk to that person that feels like they have been hurt at the church. I went to a church who I love the people there. They're dear to my heart, even here in Florida. But there was a lot of judgment towards people like myself that were addicts. And I was in ministry and leadership, and I saw a lot of dysfunction from all the way from the top, where I felt like we addicts did not fit in this church. And I want to talk to that person that has been hurt by churches, by those that were in places of leadership. And I want to be able to touch and change the lives of people from a place of gratitude. Because if you embrace gratitude, everything in your life changes forever. Everything changes forever. There's nothing better than coming from a place of gratitude and saying, yes, this happened, but this is the good in it. If you can look for the good in it, you are able to find the greatness in it. It's when we tell ourselves the same story over and over and over in the way that it happened, is when we struggle, is when we have problems. But if you start telling yourself that story from a different mindset, then you're able to step into gratitude. You're able to step into all that God has for you. And you're able to change your story for the better. That's why I am writing this book. Got gratitude?